Veronica EQ here for you, and diving right into those stories with QHHT. Oh man, there have been some absolutely incredible ones. So, one of the ones that comes to mind first was my last regression. And this individual was so fascinating because his higher self took him to a plane where he remembered being a planet. Yes, that is a possibility. And he was reminded, what his higher self was aiming to show him was to remember how big and expansive he was. And it's harder to think of anything bigger than a planet in this universe that is in a physical form. Another really fun one that I had was this alien energy, and it was an alien, and government's now admitting it, so we know it's there, that was transmitting this really beautiful message through the individual I was working with. And it was so moving being in that energy. But I eventually had to tell it to leave, just because it was at such a different vibration and frequency that the individual I was working with was starting to turn blue. Her lips started turning blue because she was so physically cold. And my job as a practitioner, of course, is first to remember to take care of the individual. So that was a really, really fun one. I had another favorite is a woman who remembered a life of being a troll. And you think like scary, like Troll Under the Bridge? Absolutely not. This was the sweetest thing ever. It was the sweetest life ever to remember. And I do love too, there is a tendency for people to feel like they're making stuff up. Well, another great example of this is I had a very high-powered executive woman that was doing the regression. And she had the sweetest life. She was back in the 1800s at some point, somewhere in the Midwest. We didn't really need to get into those details for her. And she was a farmhand. And she was at a rodeo. And one of the lives parts of the life she saw was winning this rodeo and then getting the girl. And they had the sweetest life together, having kids, all of that stuff. Now, I always encourage people to be aware of a high-powered executive woman, well, as sweet as that is not going to imagine being a farmhand. I mean, if we're making stuff up, we're going to tend to think we're like a pharaoh, or we're a king or a queen or a princess of some sort. So some of the most profound, beautiful lives I've seen are not ones that we'd want to make up or think of, but were actually sometimes very simple, but just so incredible. And of course, this is not a modality that is intended to diagnose or treat anything, but just create the space for healing. But I have seen some pretty incredible things in that regard, such as a gentleman who cited doing the work together that we did as part of his path of curing cancer for himself. It was a significant part of it, though he had been doing quite a few other things as well. I had a woman who had it was a growth on her breast tissue. And during the regression, it actually, as we were working on it, it popped, and there was an audible pop, and her body shirked, and within weeks, it disappeared. So it was just a really incredible space to be able to say these things are available. That space for you to heal yourself is available. And also remembering as a practitioner, I'm with you wherever you go, but I'm also not leading you anywhere. Your higher self is taking you exactly to where you need to go. It's meeting you where you're at so that you can have that space to heal or get that information that's been tripping you up or create new programming within the brain to get over those deep emotional seated patterns of depression, anxiety, anger, or other patterns that just keep coming up for you. So the range is endless. And again, if you check out Dolores's books, you'll find that. But as a practitioner, it's just absolutely one of my favorite things to do, to be able to create that space, hold that container for people to have this extraordinarily deep experience. So I hope if you are considering doing this for yourself, that please do more research and see how you're called to it and land. But know that you are supported of over decades worth of experience with Dolores, her daughter Julia, and with the practitioners who've trained under them, including myself. So thank you so much for joining. I hope this gives you a little bit more insight and information about this modality, as there's so many tremendously beautiful ones out there, but none that I found that are quite this extensive. And I hope that helps you navigate your life just a little bit more, giving you a little bit more of that grace and ease, because as you remember, or may not know yet if this is your first video, That is always what I wish for you. Thank you.